Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia and this is the 8th episode in my Women of Harry Potter series. This episode is about Moaning Myrtle. And just a quick content warning. This episode discusses depression, suicide, bullying and death. So please skip the entire video if you'd rather avoid these subjects. This is also your obligatory spoiler warning for all 7 Harry Potter books. I'd never really thought much about Moaning Myrtle and her role in these books until I started planning for this video. As soon as I did, so many questions popped into my head. What does she symbolize in the books? What links her main appearances in The Chamber of Secrets, The Goblet of Fire and The Half-Blood Prince? And most importantly, is Myrtle a tragic character? There's a lot to support a positive answer to that question. First of all, there's the fact that she was killed in such tragic circumstances as a young girl. Then there's her obvious mental health issues that persist even after death. I mean, you know that she's clearly not over the bullying that she had to endure in her lifetime. And even in death, this unfair treatment continues, for example, by Peeves and Ron. All this sounds like the make of a tragic character. And yet, she's mostly used for comic relief in the books. All of those really dark traits are kind of treated as funny and as over the top and exaggerated by the narrative itself. For example, there's this scene in The Chamber of Secrets where Harry goes to ask her about what she's seen around the bathroom after the first attack. "Did you see anyone near here that night?" said Harry. "I wasn't paying attention," said Myrtle dramatically. "Peeves upset me so much I came in here and tried to kill myself. Then, of course, I remembered that I'm already dead," said Ron helpfully. Myrtle gave a tragic sob, rose up in the air, turned over and dived headfirst into the toilet, splashing water all over them and vanishing from sight. From the direction of her muffled sobs, she had come to rest somewhere in the U-bend. So suicide is played for laughs in this scene, and we get similar ones all over the books when Myrtle appears. I find this treatment of the subject matter really confusing, and I just don't know whether this is an insensitive oversight on Rowling's part, or whether she was trying to make some sort of point. But then, what sort of point? I also have to say that the first few times I've read these books, this did not occur to me as something odd. Maybe I was just a particularly cruel child. You never know. But as an adult looking back at that is a really weird thing to make fun of, isn't it? Anyway, moving away from this issue, I'd also like to talk about Myrtle's relationship to other people and to the world around her. First of all, she clearly has a complicated relationship to girls. It seems like when she was alive, most of her bullies were girls, like we get mention of Olive Hornby. And now as a ghost, she doesn't really communicate all that much with them. She seems to be in constant competition with Hermione, for example, even though she's treated with much more sympathy by her than she is by Harry and Ron. Myrtle's sort of stuck in this role as the eternal victim. And obviously, in the Harry Potter books, one of the qualities of ghosts is that they can't move on from something that happened in their lives. In Myrtle's case, she never seemed to let go of those teenage insecurities and those high school grudges, which is why she is stuck there as a teenage girl with all of the baggage that comes with it. Connected to that, I find one of the major themes that links almost all of Myrtle's scenes together is that of teenage sexuality, particularly in The Chamber of Secrets and The Half-Blood Prince. I always thought of those 2 books as the ones where the theme of sexuality was the strongest. In the 6th book, it's pretty obvious with all the hormones flying everywhere, and in Myrtle's case, there's the unlikely pairing of her and Draco Malfoy. In the 2nd book, though, the themes are much more subtle, and we get to see the darker side of sex and sexuality, like the way that Ginny is groomed by Tom Riddle through his diary, or the way that Gilderoy Lockhart takes advantage of his female fans' attraction to him. Myrtle fits really well into that, I think. She's got this clumsy way of flirting with the male students of Hogwarts, be it Harry or Cedric Diggory or Draco Malfoy later on. This is a counterpoint to her kind of spiteful and aggressive attitude towards Hermione. In a way, Myrtle seeks the attention of both boys and girls, and yet she's as much sidelined in death as she was in life. If Harry, Ron and Hermione had paid a little bit more attention to her in the Chamber of Secrets, they would have solved the book's mystery within like 3 chapters. Another parallel I'd like to bring up is the one that I see between Myrtle and Luna Lovegood. Maybe it's because they're both Ravenclaws and they're obviously both being bullied by their peers that I draw this connection. Unlike Myrtle, Luna has both an inner strength and confidence and also the support of a small but tight-knit group of friends. That means that she doesn't descend into misery the way that Myrtle does. Poor Myrtle just has all of her insecurities and is motivated by spite and revenge more than anything else. Which is why she will forever play the part of the crying girl in the toilet. So these are my thoughts on Moaning Myrtle. As usual, I'm interested in yours. What do you make of the weird disconnect between the tragic circumstances of Myrtle's life and death and the way that she's portrayed and played for laughs in the books? I would also like to give a very special thanks to my friend Rahil, who helped me brainstorm this episode and brought up a lot of really good ideas and very interesting thoughts. And thank you all for watching. Bye.